We are Venom.
Oh wait, that's not what we're reviewing. Amazing Spider-Man 300 is infamous for introducing us to probably the most iconic Spider-Man villain, Venom. And over the years, Venom has evolved into being a superhero, an anti-hero, a phenomenon. Like, he participated in a lot of video games, a lot of cartoons. He had his own spin-off movies, which were the less said, the better. But his true introduction was in this comic, so that's really what sold me into wanting to read this. And I gotta say, it was good, and I think over time, they have done more justice for the Venom character. I think the biggest advantage that Venom had is that he just looked cool. His presence was amazing. But I think my favorite iteration of Venom was, of course, Spectacular Spider-Man, giving Eddie Brock that close to close relationship with Peter Parker. Here, we kind of get an Eddie Brock who is almost identical to Peter Parker, but maybe stronger, physically wise, I should say. Where he's also a photographer, he's also trying to impress people, and he was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. And no, I'm not talking about Spider-Man 3, even though that is the exact comic that story that it is, because through the first half, we get to see Peter Parker wearing the black suit. And he's very different, very um, disrespectful. He's very cocky around the point. Todd McFarlane, who is the artist behind this comic, he did something to Mary Jane where I was like, yo, I think he was just trying so hard to make her look fine. And I love his work. He did great with the Spawn graphics, but yeah, I think he was trying too much to really sexualize Mary Jane. Because even I was just like, yo, what's up with Mary Jane in this story? I will say that they do justice in how to have Peter kind of realize that the symbiote is bad for him. However, Eddie Brock doesn't really see it. He just sees hate because his life was done to crap after Peter Parker shenanigans, and him going after Peter here was great and all. It was a little weird seeing a black suited Spider-Man versus Venom. It does make sense because that would be the only way to make a fair shot. I think the video game did it better because at least it was a different suited. Like, it wasn't two black suited Spider-Man. It was a white and a black. Because technically the symbiote still lived inside Peter around this time. So I think they did a way much better job there. Here it was just kind of like, all right, let's just have fun with it and stuff. And I will say that the writer was doing a solid job. David Michelini did a really good job with this comic. He's done a lot of great stuff for Spider-Man, and I can't really fault him for this because this was like a big prize because it was the 300th Amazing Spider-Man comic, and even the graphic with the 300 in the background, taking a callback to the Silver Sable comic that they did earlier on. They did amazing with just like the pictures and the look of the present of this. The story itself, it's give it as you go. It's practically like the goodness that we got out of Spider-Man 3. I do like the fact that it takes noise to like take out the symbiote. Like, they actually do the same thing where they go to a church and try to remove the suit, and then Eddie Brock just happens to be there at the wrong place at the wrong time. They actually take the symbiote because it eventually foreshadows that the symbiote does come back later on, because I didn't know this, but the Fantastic Four are actually involved in this story, and then they end up taking over the symbiote. They don't wear the suit or anything, but they're just experimenting it or testing it and like doing their research on it, similar to what Dr. Connors was doing in the Spider-Man 3 movie. But here they have more freedom. They can use all the Marvel characters they want. I think the best part about this comic was hands down just the fact that Peter is kind of embracing his wrong, what he did wrong, and it was time for him to get rid of that suit and like ignore it. Obviously, over time, Venom does become a phenomenon and becomes one of the more iconic characters in Spider-Man history, and I can't really fault it for that. I think that is what is the biggest takeaway, is that it created one of the biggest comic book villains in Marvel history. I'm not saying he was the biggest comic book character, but to a lot of people he was, and I think that is what helps it. I will say Mary Jane was a little too much in this story. Um, Now I'm not gonna lie, they did a good job drawing her. I'm not faulting them for that, but I don't know, her character just felt so different compared to like other comics. And I will say that I can't really hate on this. I know a lot of people are like divided on it. Some people even say that Eddie Brock's origin story is dumb, which I could make the argument for. But I think its job was just to set up Eddie Brock, and then over time, I think people have found a way to make him better and cooler, and I can't really get mad at that. So I'm what to rate this? I'm going to give it an A minus, and it mainly has to do with just the fact of how impactful it is for comic book fans. I think it did a great job and that aspect, and showcasing like the wrongs in Peter Parker's life, because we kind of needed not this Boy Scout Peter Parker. We needed to change him up a bit. I mean, we got a brief taste of what he has done during Craven's Last Hunt comic, and here is no different. And I really thought they did a great way of culminating this part of the story, even though it's not quite the end. We will be talking about Carnage later on, within time. But I did think that they do a solid job here, and I can't really fault it. We are going to continue on with the Spider-Man series on day 23 tomorrow. We will be talking about a video game called Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. Yes, I get to finally talk about this game. When I saw this, I was very excited, and as a kid, I always wanted to play it. What are my thoughts on it? Find out tomorrow. Anyways, take care, everybody.